We got a couple days left in the transfer window. We've spent some money. We've sold a few players. We got absolutely jobbed on one of them, too. Sometimes the economics of this game are just completely mind-boggling. But we're off to a really good start in La Liga with the exception of one major injury, and we'll take a look at that here now. My name's FM20. It's time to get real. So, first up, the Champions League group stage draw. We are seeded 4th. So, no matter which group we go to, it's going to be tough. So, I'm just gonna click through the first 3 choices in each pot here. Okay, so Group A is Barcelona, Milan, and Besiktas. Group B is Man City, Dortmund, and Celtic. Group C, Bayern, Liverpool, and Marseille. Group D, Benfica, Monaco, and Napoli. Group E, Inter, Man United, and Ajax. Group F, PSG, Real Madrid, Schalke. Group G, AZ, Chelsea, Valencia. Group H, Arsenal, Juve, Porto. So we cannot go to Group F. We cannot go to Group G. We can't go to Group A. Group G would have been nice. Well, let's find out. Victoria Pilsen goes to A. NK Osijek goes to B. Ghent goes to C. Shakhtar goes to D. We are in Group E with Inter, Man United, and Ajax. Zenit ends up in Group F. Red Bull Salzburg in Group G. And TSG 1899 Hoffenheim in Group H. Tough group. I think we're fighting for Europa League again. Man United is a very good team. Solskjaer is still there? No, he got fired and he got hired back. Inter. Now they've won Serie A 3 of the last 4 years. Diego Simeone's there. Federico Ermini. Very good winger. And then Ajax. It's been back and forth in the Eredivisie, but they won it 2 years ago. Also a good team. Got our work cut out for us. So we got a couple days till the transfer window closes. We're going to get through that. I've got one loan player I'm waiting to come in, and then we'll take a look at the transfer window. We're not going to play any games today, which means we're not playing Barcelona. We'll take a look at the schedule here, figure out who we're playing. I got to reset my training because stuff got moved around. And, of course, I'm recording, so, it's taking forever today. Tough group. It's a very tough group. Fixture rearrangements. The transfer window is essentially over. Barcelona came in at the last minute and made Essam Mahmoud an offer, and they lowballed me. They wanted $27 million for him, and he is definitely worth more than $27 million. Let me pull him up here. Four-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability, good La Liga player. He counts towards the maximum squad registration for domestics, but that might be falling off here a little bit. Enjoys big matches, versatile player. Not really. I can play him in a pinch on the right and on the midfield position if I have to, but I'd rather not. But he is really improved since he got here. Physically, mentally, technically, 18 marking, 16 tackling. He's a very good wing back. And he's got a minimum release fee, or he had a minimum release fee of $82 million. And I kept that going. I want to say, let me check something here. Release clause. This is the new contract we're offering him. He's making $32,000. He wants $45,000, and a minimum release fee is $100 million, and he agreed to it. So I'm not a huge fan of how a team will come in at the very last minute unless it's a player that's looking to move. And we did have a case of that happening. Who wants from LJ? LJ's been after all of my players this season. So let's take a look here at the transfers. Release players wise, we just had 3. Réal, who was a youth player. Marco Abi, who was a youth player that we had brought on a few years ago and just never panned out. We spent 150,000 euros on him. And while he had what looks like some really brilliant seasons for the B squad, they're essentially playing amateur teams. So that's why he's ringing up huge numbers there. He's playing for a team in Switzerland now, Rapperswil, who are the Challenge League. I want to say they're the Swiss Second League. I could be wrong there. So, we lost a little bit of money on him, but sometimes that happens. Alessandro Cordonovas, we did not renew his contract. He went to Reims. So he is going to be a starter and bench player there for them, just like he was here for us. I brought him in to be a backup player, a mentor, and a spot starter, and that's what he was. And he did a very good job of it. Free transfers, we didn't have any this year. Loan deals. We had a couple players go out, including some newer pickups that I will talk about here in a minute. But Rune Tollefson, Dennis Batha, Antonio Costa, Anders Bergersen, Ricardo Piccione, Marco Hill, and Lorenzo Ibanez all went out on loan. They are all youth players. The one new player who went out on loan is Moreno Agi, midfielder, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 20 years old. Plays a really good deep line playmaker. Also fits in really well at a box midfielder and ball winning midfielder. We got him for $9.5 million from Young AZ. But one of the deals of actually signing him was turning around and saying, "Hey, I'm going to send you out on loan," and he wanted to go back on loan to a club in Holland, and so De Graafschap made an offer for him. They're paying 50% of his starting salary, 100% if he doesn't start, and he's a regular starter. We'll get back to him here in just a second. Christian is the loan player we brought in from FC Barcelona. We're paying most of his salary, but I'm not too upset by that. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. One of the reasons I brought him in is that he's a very good midfielder. He's going to play ball-winning midfielder and deep line playmaker more often than not. He's a very good defensive midfielder. If I played one of those, I would be playing him there. But he also slots in at defensive right back and defensive center back as well. He will be getting game time a lot. He's a very solid player. And if it wasn't for the fact he had like an 88 million euro release clause, I would look at signing him. On the cash and clause transfers, believe it or not, we have been net sellers. And that's because we had a couple players leave that I wasn't expecting to leave. Marcelo Diane, Atletico came in and made a 26.5 million euro bid for him. Now, he was valued 18, 20 million, maybe 22 million, and really wanted to go. And it was one of those cases where normally I wouldn't let a player go to a team in the same league unless the money was right. And in this case, the money was right. I wanted him to say, I came back and said, "Hey, what'll it take?" And he wanted a salary up in the 100,000 euro a week. And I'm not willing to pay that right now. I've got the money to do that, but I'm not willing to pay that right now, at least not for DNA. So he went to Atletico. David Del Bavora, Lazio came in, made an unsolicited offer for him that he jumped all over. And frankly, he's kind of getting up there, 26 years old. Loves big matches, can play him on the left and the right. But he really wanted to go, and I didn't want to stand in his way. And plus, it's a Serie A team, so, unless we're playing them in the Europa League or Champions League, we're not going to be facing him anytime soon. So I let him go. We got good money for him. For a guy we brought in for 350,000 euros and turned around and sold for 15.75 million euros, we're doing good. Now this is where we got absolutely jobbed. There are a few guys who were mad that I let DNA go. There are a few guys that were mad I let David Del Bavora go. Guillaume Lemaitre absolutely pitched a fit. I have no idea why. I have no idea what's going on about it. And I finally got tired of it. Was like, okay, I'm moving you. He's a 3.5-star current, 4.5-star potential ability midfielder. He is good. The best offer I got for him was this €2.5 million offer from Lens, I want to say. In France, it was in France. It was a French team. And I turned it down. And the team went absolutely nuts. And so I turned back around and said, okay, I'll let him go for the same price. And freaking Villarreal stepped up and said, hey, here's €2.5 million. So I'm not happy about this. I mean, he is easily worth 3 times that. He's easily worth 10 times that. I mean, he's valued at 13 million right now. I got him for 5.5, and I should have been able to sell him for at least 4 times as much. You know, I mean, those are solid seasons, and he's, ability-wise, he is up there with other wingers. So I got completely jobbed on that. Hellas Verona made an offer from Mladen Vojnovic, and I was really considering keeping him, and then I took a look and realized his determination has fallen off a whole heck of a lot, and it's not coming up anytime soon. It's 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He would have gotten a lot of playing time here, but I brought in a couple of players that I thought were going to at least replace him or be better than him in the long run, so I'm okay letting him go. You know, we brought him in for 6.5. We turn around, we sold him for 5.75. But frankly, players with low determination on my team just always stand out to me. And, you know, Luis Tendillo, or Alberto Tendillo early on was like that. He was a great player except for his determination. And you always noticed when he did something wrong because you were looking at him going, oh yeah, that's that 3 determination coming into play. And for a guy who was playing a very key role in the team, box-to-box midfielder, and we're challenging for top 4 this year, you know, you want someone who's not going to get down. So, Paulo Bianco was a youth player who just never really developed. I mean, 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. We bought him from Torino for $5.5 million, and he never developed. He never got better. He never got past the 2.5 stars. He is, and that's with a decent amount of playing time as well. I mean, even on the B squad, he got 35 games, but he got 1 goal and 7 assists. And you're looking at guys like Marco Ebi getting 55 goals for the B squad. You know, we loaned him out to Lugo. He didn't do well there. He got 9 starts and a few appearances off the bench for their B squad, which is kind of, they're in the same situation my B squad is. And just Sevilla came in and made an offer for him, and I said, sure. And then they turned around and loaned him out to Ponferradina. So a little bit of money lost there, but we made up for it with the Del Vibor and Diane signings. Nikita Bertosa, who I signed last year to be my backup at defensive left back, and then got extremely unhappy he wasn't getting the playing time he wanted, which didn't really make a lot of sense because if you look at what he did last season, he started 19 games. He had 19 appearances. He had 12 starts, 7 off the bench. He got starts in the Cups. He got starts in the Europa League. He got international starts. Overall, he had 18 starts and 11 appearances off the bench. And he was a squad player. He signed a squad player contract, and he was upset with that. And oh my God, he wasn't happy the entire season. And then a week ago, he came back and was like, oh, I'm okay. And then the next day, Borussia Dortmund made an unsolicited offer for him for $23 million. And he was like, I want to go. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop you. Off you go. So with a couple of youngsters we've promoted to the first squad, I've actually got some, and even losing Dale Vibora, I've got a solid defensive backline. We'll go to that here in a second. Moreno Agi, we talked about, you know, comes in from Ajax, 2-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 20 years old. Physically, he's not the best, but mentally, he's pretty solid. Technically, he could use some improving, but his passing and technique are very nice. The first touch and free kick taking, they're on the plus side, which I like. You know, I love the 17 bravery. He's very good. You know, he's solid. There's not a lot of weaknesses to his game, but he's got the potential to improve, and that's one of the big reasons I went after him. And then Lucas Fabian was available. We had him in last season on loan. He did a very good job for us. He was a very reasonable price, and I brought him in. And then the very first game of the season, he injured his hip, and he's was this twisted ankle. He had a hip injury. I could have sworn it was a hip injury. Am I thinking of another player? Wow, it's been a week. But anyhow, Fabian is here full time now. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 19 years old. We got him for what, 10.25 or 10.5 million. You know, and that's after last season. You know, he had 20 appearances, 15 off the bench, 4 goals and assists. A player of the he had a couple players of the match, I thought. He had one player of the match, but he got starts in all competitions for it. Was very solid. He's a versatile player, which is one of the other reasons I like him. He nominally, he's a striker. I plan on playing him a deep line playmaker on the midfield, or maybe box midfielder. It depends. But again, he's a very solid player, and he's not costing us a ton of money either. Only 22,500 euros a week. Jeremy Sutter from Chelsea, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 21 years old. I wanted some depth. I got Sutter in before I realized Fabian was available. My scouts went out and found Fabian for me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally on board with this. One of the big reasons I picked him up is because he's left-footed. The other reason I picked him up is because he's a left-footed advanced forward. And he's also very good at complete forward, pressing forward, deep line forward. You know, all the positions I like. And as you can see down here, he has done an absolute job for us the first 2 games of the season. 3 goals, 2 assists, 1 player of the match. He's fast, he's pacey. Mentally, he is very, very solid. Technically, 16 dribbling, 12 first touch. The 10 finishing is a bit low. The 17 technique more than makes up for it, though. So I've got to figure out what I need to do to... is it round the keeper or knocks ball past the keeper? It's one of those two. The bravery we're going to work on after we get his agility and... well, wait a minute. I wanted to work on his aerial because that will work on his bravery. But yeah, he has been an absolute find for us. It seems I always get one player that I bring in to like be a backup, and then something happens. Maria, was it Maria who hurt his hip? No, Maria's coming back. I could have sworn I had a player go with a hip. No, Rune Tollefson. Good grief. Rune Tollefson went out on loan, and he had suffered a hip injury, and I pulled him back. He is my youth winger who is very, very good. He will be very, very good as long as this does not screw him up. But anyhow, I promised Ajay he could go out on loan as part of bringing him in. I didn't want to break that promise and recall him from loan. I had to do that with Benvenuti. I forgot I had him on loan, and he went out. I was like, no, he's going to be a key player on the defensive back line this year. I had to cancel loan. The team he was going to was not happy with me. It happens. So we got Sutter in for 12.75 million. He was at Chelsea. They got him from Monaco for 5.25 million. I want to say I looked at him back then, but we couldn't afford him. And then he went out on loan. He's been solid, but not spectacular. And frankly, that's what I'm looking for. And if he turns, if he has a good season like Predrag did the first year he was here, I'm okay with that. And then last but not least, Ale, 22 years old, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Big reason I picked him up, he can play all 3 positions on the defensive back line. Fullback, center back, and inverted wing back on the left. Physically, he's solid. Mentally, he could be a little bit better in some areas, but the 16 determination, 15 decision-making, 15 concentration, I really like. The aggression and bravery are a little bit on the low side, but, I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable giving him starts. It's not like he has a 1 determination or he's just, got red numbers all the way across the board there. Technically, he could be a little bit better in, like, the dribbling and crossing, but for marking, tackling, and passing, he's solid. Comes to us from Santos in Brazil. So he is one of those, taking up one of those foreign slots. 3.7 million euros. I don't think you can beat that with a stick, to be honest with you, for a player who's that versatile. And that is all of our transfers. We sold 75 million euros worth of players. We bought 44 million euros worth of players. We still have a transfer budget of 92 million euros, and we've got almost $1 million in payroll we can work with. So we are golden. The only drawback has been my unwillingness to go out and spend 100 million euros for a player, because I don't think we need to. We've got a solid squad. So this is the depth chart in our 4-2-4. This is Relvis's opinion. It's up top at striker, we got Matasevic, Smokovic, Sutter, and Maria. And more often than not, it's going to be Maria and Matasevic starting. But I have no problems bringing in Sutter for Matasevic and so on and so forth, especially because is Matasevic left-footed? No, he is not. But, Sutter, Sutter can play the left. And I'm more than happy to have him play the left. Wingers, we're doing okay. Mathis is a fixture on the left. Sutter can play there. Smokovic can play there, but Harold is his primary backup. And we've also got Buij. Did I talk about him? I may have skipped him. He is another player we brought in from Ajax, who, let me go back to him real quick. 20 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. He's fast. Mentally, he's solid, except the positioning, which I need to work on. The big reason I brought him in is because he is a left-footed advanced midfielder on the right, but he's also a solid midfielder on the left, which means I can put him on the bench or start him and be comfortable in either position. So he's my primary backup on the right, because with Lemaitre going, Israel is going to be my full-time starter on the right, with Resnicek backing him up, with Buij on the bench as well. Sutter can also play on the right. Sutter's one of those players who plays striker and then plays the wingers. Maybe not exceptionally well, but well enough. I toyed at one point in time making him an inside forward. Depending on what happens the following seasons, I may just do that. But for the time being, he's going to be a striker. In the midfield, we're solid. Alonso, Fabian, Malo, who is never going to be the best physically, but technically and mentally, he is going to improve by leaps and bounds. I suspect he's going to be very much like a poor man's Sandro Tonali or Robert Pirlo. He's going to be a guy who's going to sit back in the deep line playmaker or central midfielder role and be a facilitator. You know, with a 16 first touch and a 17 passing and a 16 vision and a 17 teamwork and decent positioning, I'm trying to get him out of arguing with the officials. But all of my coaches have said that's not a good idea, and I don't know why you would think a player arguing with officials would be bad. But you know, his determination's gone up. He's in a very good mentor group. You know, he's never going to be the flashiest of players, but in 3 or 4 years, when he is 4-star current, 5-star potential ability, he is going to be one of those guys that the team is just absolutely flowing around. He's going to be pinpoint on his passes, and I'm just going to be absolutely enamored with him. I could also be completely wrong. Defensively, we've got Mahmoud at defensive left back with Sirac backing up. We got Joubert, Barnabashvili, Ale, and then Benvenuti, who I highlighted last season, but he is here full time. He is getting starts. Well, he will be getting starts, but he's got appearances off the bench now. 19 years old, 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability, 6'3", 185 pounds. Physically solid, mentally pretty decent. The 5-footer is a bit lacking, but I'm okay with that. Technically, he could be better in a couple of areas, but he's not going to get better unless he gets playing time. And the loan offers I was getting for him was like, oh, fringe player this, fringe player that, or he was going to be a starter or a squad player on a team that just, I didn't think he was going to get starts when looking at who else they had. You know, it was a team in one of the Segunda B's where it's like, yeah, we want him to be our defensive center back. And I went and looked at him. They already had 5 on the roster, and 3 of them were just as good as he is now. And it's like, you're telling me he's going to be a squad player. I don't want to have him sit on the bench. So Joubert, Barnabashvili, and Benvenuti are going to be rotating at the defensive center back position. Ale can come in and fill in there. Fernandez takes up the full-time right back position. I don't know why those arrows are going down. Literally a week ago they were going up, so that's just FM being FM. You know, solid fullback. I got no problem starting him, and then Ale is his primary backup. Christian can play there. Peter Hoffman, who is my 20-year-old, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability defensive center back, is also going to be part of the rotation, but he will also come off the bench and get starts at defensive right back as well. I'm comfortable starting him there a few games if I have to. And then in goal, it's Seferovic and Shendelar. Seferovic's really improved. He's getting a lot better. His first touch is still not the best, but you know, his handling, his kicking, his one-on-ones are great. He's got good reflexes, good command of area, decent anticipation, decision making. You know, I am more than happy he is my first team keeper. He is definitely going to grow into the role. Season-wise, we've gotten off to a very good start. I played a decent amount of friendlies. We took our training camp in France, so I played a few French teams, and I played mostly rotated sides against them. The 11-2 against Terrasso was just us beating up on one of our affiliates, and then 3-1 against La Hospital. That was kind of the same. Elche we drew with, which was a bit of a bummer, but then we got off to a very fast start against Getafe, beating them 5-1. Ely Mathis a brace of goals, Sutter a brace of goals. Martin Matasevic got things started in the 10th minute. We were just really, really good this game. 16 shots, 9 on target. This was the game Fabian went out injured in, and this is why I got screwed up, because Tollison got injured at the same time, and so both the reports came up. So in my head, I thought, oh great, Fabian's out for 3 months with a busted hip, or some sort of leg injury. So I panicked and I got Christian, but in the long run, Christian's going to be a decent loan signing for us. And then against Sevilla, we got a 1-0 victory thanks to a Sutter goal in the 61st minute. We should have gotten more from this game. We were better than Sevilla. 18 shots, 9 on target for us. They had 4 shots, none on target. They just had a substandard game. And a lot of our players had above standard games. As an example, Mallow. 1 chance created, 5 key passes, player of the match. He's going to have a lot of those. He's not going to be a goal scoring machine. He's going to be an assist machine and a facilitator. And that's what I'm looking for. So coming up, I think what we're going to do is come back for Inter and Granada. Then probably something like Leganes, Ajax, and then probably Cadiz, Inter. We'll get live comms of all our group stage opponents, at least one. So the other thing I am going to be looking at going forward is strengthening our B squad this season. Oh, I got to get the loan players out. So our B squad this season is unspectacular, but that's to be expected. These are all players who are just never going to pan out as youth players that I haven't been able to move on yet. And then the B squad, or the under 19 squad, Tollison is the best of the bunch, but he is injured. Who else got injured? Oh, it's just blisters. So, one of the things I'm hoping to do as the season goes on is to get more players in on loan and see if I can't find some youngsters. Like we talked about a couple minutes ago, I've got 92 million euros in the bank. I can afford to risk a little bit of it. The other good news is, where am I looking at here? The board is improving the youth and training facilities. They decided to do that this summer all by themselves. I'm very, very happy with that. So, a busy off-season, a good off-season, I think. We got better. We lost a few players, but I think we've more than adequately replaced them. And if not, we will certainly find out. But the season's off to a very good start. We're all 2 games in, and we're in first place. We're tied with Real Madrid because Barcelona's already lost to Real Madrid. So, fun times. But I think top 4 definitely this season, without question. It may be challenging for second. We're going to have to get some... The Madrid and Barcelona are just going to have to get beat up on each other for us to have any chance of finishing anywhere near first this season. So, but our ultimate goal is fewer yellow cards than points, and so far we're doing okay. If you did like what you've seen or heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, questions, criticisms, comments, feedbacks down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name's FM20.